Have you ever bought a hot water flask like this and taken it home, poured hot water into it, and you find out that within a week, within 3 hours, the water has gotten cool, and you were just wondering or thinking that maybe you were sold a fake product? No, you weren't. You spoiled your water flask with your own hand. And I'm going to be telling you how we did that in this video. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ivy and I'm a makeup artist and YouTuber based in Asaba Delta State, Nigeria. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to keep your hot water flask hot for longer periods. Now, if this is a content you would like to see, then please keep on watching, and while you're at it, kindly subscribe to my channel down below by clicking on that red button. Like this video and drop me a comment down in the comment section. Okay, now I'm just going to be taking my phone right here and I'm going to be reading out what this is called a vacuum flask, and I want to read out what a vacuum flask does. Okay, or a thermos flask. I said a thermos is a bottle with a double-walled container inside of it. The air between the two walls is sucked out during construction, creating a vacuum. Instead of containing some kind of heating element to keep things hot, a thermos is designed to keep hot things hot by not allowing heat to escape. Okay. A thermos is also a great way to keep drinks cold for hours or even days at a time. All right. Now, I don't know where I got that idea from, guys, but I think I went to get this. Same thing applies to both thermos flask and thermos bottle and the flask, the food flask. The same principle applies. I don't know where I got that idea from, but for the longest time, I think I went to a shop to get a flask, and the lady who sold it to me told me that in order to get the flask to work for longer periods, if it's a cold water, if I want to use it for cold things, I should put ice cube in it with a little bit of water and leave it overnight. Or if I want it to work for very hot things, I should put boiling water in it and leave it overnight, probably for like overnight, let's say from maybe 10 to 6, that's about 8 hours. And I discovered that I had been doing that, and I had so many of these and food flasks in my house that I would put food in and put hot water in, and within 3-4 hours, like the first 2-3 days, it tries to, let me not exaggerate too much. Let me say the first 1 week, the flask would remain hot or cold. And then by the second week, I'll put water in it, hot water in it, and within 5 hours, the water has gone lukewarm. And I'm like, what happened? Was it that these people sold me? And these are good brands I bought for expensive prices. Until I recently went to get a food flask for my daughter. Like, I had been buying food flasks for her. I think I actually spoiled those flasks myself. That's why I said at the beginning of this video that if you have been doing that, you actually ended up spoiling your flask yourself. I don't know the science behind this. I really cannot explain the science behind this, because from what I was able to pull up online, I was told you can safely put boiling water in a thermos without any issues. If it's glass lined thermos, those other ones that have glass in it, do not, because it can make the glass to shatter. But for metal ones like this, you can. But there's also a caveat somewhere. They said you may want to preheat it with warm water first before pouring boiling water straight in. Okay, now why did I even decide to pull up this and research this? Like I was saying, the story I was going to tell, I recently got my daughter a Food Flask because I had been getting her Food Flask and I had been doing that same routine, pouring hot water in it, and she would take her food to school, and before it's lunchtime for her to eat, the food is already cold, so she will return back with the food because she loves hot food. And so I was kept on buying and buying. I'll buy a Food Flask 7,000, 10,000, and I had so many of them. And so I went to this particular lady and I told her, I said, please give me a Food Flask, because she seemed like she knew what she was all about. Give me a Food Flask that I would use and my daughter would use it, and it will retain the hotness. And so she brought one, and I looked at her like, I already have this one, but it doesn't, like within 3-4 hours the food is already cold. And she said, no, that is not possible, that this brand is a very good brand. She even showed me hers, that she used to bring her food to her shop that day, and she had had that food since morning, and this was evening time, and when she opened it, the food was still hot. And I was like, impossible. That means I've been buying the fake things. As I was leaving her shop, I was just like, I will not even try to use hot water. This time around, I will just put the food directly. And she paused and was like, madam, come on. You dey pour hot water for inside. I say, hey, now you dey spoil your Food Flasks. Now you dey spoil now. No, try them again. No, where you for learn that one? And I was like, I don't know. I think I learned it somewhere along the line. She was like, no. That she was not asking me. When you pour hot water for night, by morning the water still dey hot, abi e don cold. I said, don't cold. She was like, you see, now you dey spoil am, now you dey spoil am. And I was like, how do you mean? She was like, no. If you want the flask to retain the coldness, that means that you want to use it for, because you can either use it for a hot, you can either get a flask for a hot, either for kids preserving hot things or for preserving cold things. You cannot use it for both. Okay, so if you have a flask like this and you want to use it for cold water or cold beverages or whatever, I told her I was told to put ice cubes and stuff in it. She was like, no. She said just put lukewarm water, normal room temperature water, 2/3 of the way through. Then take cold water, not ice block, or cold water, and fill it up. The remaining 1/3. So you're filling it up with room temperature water 2/3, and the remaining 1/3 with cold water. And you leave it overnight. Let's say between that same 10 to 6. And I said, really? She said, yes. I said, okay. This is going to be an experiment. In fact, because of that, I actually ended up buying another hot water flask, not this one. It's in my daughter's bag, school crush bag. And I asked her, the hot water bottle, how about that? And she said, don't even make the mistake of pouring boiling hot water. She said I was to use warm water. Warm water, or that water in that phase between warm and hot. I don't know how to put it. Water you can dip your hands safely into for 10 minutes and not have to quickly bring it out and say, it's painful, it's hot. Okay, that's, if it's too hot for you to leave your hands in for 10 minutes, it's too hot. Okay, dip your fingers into, because our fingers are very sensitive. And I said, really? She said yes. And so I got home with the thermos flask and the Food Flask. I was going to use both for hot, to store hot food or beverage or water, whatever. And so I did that with the, I would not say lukewarm water, that's kind of hot, not hot water, that water between lukewarm and slightly hot, not boiling water. That water that I just explained to you that you have to dip your hands into for like 10 minutes, just slightly hot, not hot, slightly hot. That phase between lukewarm and hot, like just leaving lukewarm. And I filled up the thermos with it and the Food Flasks with it. I didn't wash it with cold water, nothing. You're not even supposed to wash it first. Just fill it up with that water and leave it, allow it to sit. I did that by 9 p.m. that day, and then by 6 a.m. the next day, I was amazed. The water still retained the same temperature. Like, it was still the same temperature I put into the flask that it retained. So for that very, very first use, I think it kind of preps the flask on what to expect, like what it's going to be doing. I don't know the science behind it. I'm not a scientist or whatever. I tried to research it, but I couldn't really get satisfying answers. But these are life hacks. This is a life hack that I've tried, and I was amazed. And then that day, I put my daughter's water in it. I put her food in it, and she went to school. And she got back by 4. She didn't finish her food, but the food was still hot. I was in awe. I said, okay, maybe because I bought the flask from that woman, let me now go and buy my own, because this was my daughter's food flask. I mean, I need my own too now. And I had been buying, and it had been like useless flask. And I went and got a big flask for myself and did the same thing. And the day I took that flask out to work, when I was coming back home by 5, my food was still hot. And I said, maybe something, let it just be that. Let me try. I've tried hot one, let me try the cold one. And I got the, I don't call brand names here now, and I got another brand name, the Flask, because I love cold water to bits. I'm trying to stop myself from drinking cold water, but I've not been able to do that. So I got the flask for cold water. I filled it half, 2/3 of the way with room temperature water directly from the tap, and added a sachet of pure water to fill it up by 9:30. And then I poured out the water around 7 a.m. the next day, and it was still the same temperature. And then I put ice water and a little bit of ice cubes in it and went to work. And when I was coming back in the evening, the water was still cold. It was in the morning now. As at the very next morning, there was very little water in it, because I know I used to top it up every day. And when I poured the water out, I drank it, it was still chilled. I was amazed. I told a friend of mine, she was like, Ivy, like, you don't know what you've done for me. I'm going to try it. Like, I can't believe this. I've been destroying my flag for myself. And she did, and she called me back like, wow, it worked. But I still don't believe, I'm still going to wait for like a week or 2 to see. After like 2 weeks, she called again. She was like, this thing is working. I told my husband, I told my sister-in-law, and they did it, and the thing is working for them. I told another of my colleagues, she did it, and she was full. So I was like, why will I be holding this knowledge to myself? Let me come and spread it out here. For those of you who are experiencing this, stop spoiling your vacuum flasks yourself. Nigeria is becoming so hard that money is not easy to bring out anymore, to just spend and throw away. Summary of the matter is, when you have a hot water flask, or you want to have a flask you want to use for hot products, hot things, food, water, whatever, don't pour boiling water into it for first use. What you are going to do is, you are going to pour water, lukewarm water, or the water just leaving lukewarm, that you can dip your fingers into for at least 10 minutes and not have to pull it out in a hurry because you are feeling the hotness of the water. You pour it into the flask without washing the flask, without doing anything. After pouring out the water, the next morning you can wash. Just pour it in for at least 8 hours, between 10 to 4 or 5 or 6 in the morning, and you pour it out. Believe you me, it will retain the same temperature, and that water flask will retain that hotness for a long time. So the food flask, the thermos bottle, it will. If you want to use for cold water, the same thing. You fill it up 2/3 of the way with room temperature water, and then you add cold water, not ice block, just chilled water, the remaining 1/3 of the way through. And that, my dears, is how to ensure that your hot water bottle or flask retains its hotness or coldness for over 24 hours. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you try this out, and if it works for you, please leave a comment down in the comment section telling me how this changed your life. All right, thank you once again for watching. Thank you for staying tuned. We are over 200 subscribers. Yay. Please, I hope you subscribe to my channel. This is under our how to keep your hot water flask, hot and cold for longer periods of time. We have furnishes here. Stay tuned, please subscribe. There will be content for you, something. If you're into beauty, lifestyle, how to, YouTube, something is here for you, okay? Just join our family, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in our very, very next video. Bye guys.